Hello and welcome to this edition of the Time with Hime podcast. I'm your host, Lynn Cordes, joined by our superintendent. It's April.
Wow,
Woo-hoo.
We're moving right along. A lot of
is.
exciting things going on, so it's going to be a lot to talk about today.
There is, and let's start out with what we just had recently, which was our COVID vaccination, and your thoughts and
Shout out again. Once again, the health department showed up. It went pretty smooth, and got most of our staff and so vaccinated. Most of them got their second. We had a few go ahead and get their first at the time as people are changing their mind. Again, it's a personal choice as to whether you take a vaccination. It's kind of amazing where we're getting. We've talked about this a little bit. For our students, they're giving it to students 16 and over. So the health department.
With parental permission, of course.
At the health department on Monday. I believe that they can get it Monday at the health department with parental permission. I noticed Pfizer has done their test. They're saying it's good for 12 and over. I know a lot of parents are going to have questions because if my children were that age, I would have that discussion probably with my doctor or different people about should they get the vaccine. One of the advantages is the quarantine period. They don't have to quarantine if they've been vaccinated. So that's one of those things just to look at it as a parent if you feel that's a part of your decision-making process. But again, we've talked all along to our employees. It's a personal decision. They get to make it. And again, we expect parents to make that decision. We're not pushing for students to take the vaccine one way or the other. It will be interesting to see statewide, nationwide, does it become a part of the immunization list? There's some talk about that. Not sure how I feel about that either way, but as of right now, great thing is, hey, we've had vaccinations, we've been social distancing. We are right there at 0 active cases and 0 quarantines as we go into Easter break. So exciting. We started this podcast starting with a COVID update.
That's right.
Discussing that summary so many weeks in a row. And sometimes it was pretty bleak, and we were talking about, man, we almost had to close this school. We almost took a virtual day here. We struggled to get subs here, and we are we can see the light at the end of the tunnel. So we're excited. And, the great thing is we're going to have outdoor graduation. We're having a dance/prom for the seniors, the academic celebration. So pay attention. We are close to back to normal. Baseball tournaments going on, soccer's outside, track meets. We are trying to get this group of students as close back to normal as we can. So definitely watch talk to your students, pay attention to the webpage and look for what's going on because a lot of exciting things going on at LPS right now.
Events and programs too. And we still have our mask mandate at our schools.
Yes.
So, we know people are fully vaccinated, but on the sites, please remember that we are following that.
Hey, we worked hard to get to 0. We
want to keep that number.
We're going to keep it going. When you say events, we always talk about athletic events. We just got through with the big tennis tournament, got the big baseball tournament, the Bo Bowman this weekend, and all those things. But hey, our FFA is having their annual plant sale.
Yes,
that'll be going on Monday.
Starts next week. It's about a week, and there's some dates out there and different times. So I don't want to give you the wrong one, but they'll be on our social media. And we have another one, the Power Collection.
That's cool. Yeah, I'm very excited about that. It'll be at Brooklyn.
Yes, and we'll have those on our social media as well.
So you can buy art projects and such from our
students,
our transition students. So that's very exciting. So a lot of things going for our students in our community. And again, it is exciting to get back to the normal.
And we've had academic assemblies taking place as well, and we'll have Mr. LHS, EHS, and MHS happening, and I think LHS just had theirs yesterday. So, it's been great to see the kids out there and doing what they're supposed to, but having that sense of traditional school back at.
We had a class that lost their graduation, lost their senior prom, and lost a lot. They do get to go down and say, hey, we had virtual graduations in a lot of cases here at Lawton and across the state. Those look pretty good. Still wasn't graduation. Right now I'm going to say, thankfully, it's going to be a one and done for that class. This senior class, they still lost a few things. They are going to get their graduation back, a little bit of a prom, but as far as having a formal prom, in many cases, they'll go 2 years without a prom. So hopefully this is the last class for that, and next year we are a lot more to what we consider the normal than what we've been lately. Now, we do need to talk about some of the great things with it. Flu gone. Very few flus this year, strep throat. So there's some things, washing our hands and social distancing. I'm sure masks will become a thing that somewhere, there'll be a lot of discussions about that. I'm a big believer in the things that we definitely know we need to move forward is stay home when you're sick.
Yes.
Wash your hands, social distance. So,
And the other thing with our numbers going down, I just want to remind our families that our COVID testing clinic is closed.
Yep, close that.
We had so low of numbers that it just wasn't being utilized.
And we hate to end a service, but that's a service that ending it was a good thing because that meant that our COVID numbers are going down.
And we're talking about educational opportunities and have been for some time and expanding that and what that looks like. Give some shout outs and give some, what look forwards to as we move in.
Exciting as it is, and we've talked about it a little bit, and we'll kind of review some of them. We're starting to order the pieces for the maker spaces. So we're assigning teachers. So each maker space will have an assigned teacher at each elementary school. This is our pre-K through 5. Each one of those will have their own designated area for a maker space, which is kind of creativity lab is another way of explaining it. And it gives that mentality of, education has changed a little bit, and students have to be able to use their creativity and have ideas and how to develop those ideas and work in teamwork. And so these are some places we have. But with the grant we got from the foundation and the grant from the McMahon Foundation, the Lawton Public School Foundation and the McMahon Foundation, we're able to tie those together, and we're going to supply all of our maker spaces. And, we shout out the Public School Foundation for doing that, things you don't like to forget. But hey, Monday, April 5th, they're having their golf tournament. And that's where they raise their money. So, if you hadn't bought a whole sponsor or something, it may be a little late, but you could probably still jump in and contribute something. They got a raffle going on where
they're Top Golf.
Yeah, raffling a Top Golf at Memorial Stadium with I think you get to bring 5 people with you.
Right, it's a $600 value, and it's a $10 ticket, a raffle ticket.
Yep, so that's going to be exciting. And so, the support we have. So then we've, again, what we're trying to do is create opportunities. We're trying to give as many opportunities for kids as we can. And, we talked about just like GT. We used to bus kids for GT. We're not doing away with gifted and talented. We're moving the gifted and talented teachers and that instruction back to their home site. So students don't have to ride a bus. And plus, we can serve more students by moving it back to the home site. So we're excited about that. And one of the other rumors that always gets out there, we always talk about our Life Ready Center and putting that at Tomlinson. One commitment I made when I took this job in leadership and some of the things that the community wanted is they don't want abandoned buildings. So, in a sense, we've been able to sell most of the buildings that were abandoned or repurpose the buildings that were abandoned. And in Tomlinson's case, it's going to be used. How it's going to be used is it's going to become a state-of-the-art facility. It's not going to be an abandoned facility. It's going to be as what our plans for it and what the future looks like for it. It's going to be a one of the kind in the state. I've talked to some other people about what we're doing around the state, and they're jealous and very curious to come see and watch this thing develop and see if it's something they themselves would like to do.
So it's simply just transitioning from a middle school to a Life Ready Center. So we're not closing it. And I think that was the word closing is not. And
it's a twofold move because one, as the middle schools were decreasing in enrollment, we've talked about it. Both, our middle schools, Tomlinson and Central, both have less than 500 students. They were having trouble fielding some of their athletic programs. I know wrestling struggled this year. Football, as far as having a 7th grade team, an 8th grade team. And so by combining them now with the TAP programs or the technical application programs, that allows them to work together with Central on it and move that transition on to Lawton High School. We're also going to allow us to push those Algebra 1 classes and Spanish and foreign language and high school credits. So it gives us more opportunities for the middle school students as well by combining it. And we're going to create, again, a state-of-the-art facility for our Life Ready Center that we hope is a challenge and creates opportunities for every student in our district at some point.
And we were talking this morning about reminding them about concurrent, our families about concurrent, and GPTC, that those classes for our students that are enrolled in Lawton Public Schools, those are free.
Yeah, free. We working with the Public School Foundation and other organizations. We pay the fees. We pay the books through the library funds. So concurrent classes are free. If your student qualifies for college after their sophomore year, they can take free college classes. Wouldn't it be great to graduate with an associate's degree, which happens a lot? But even 20 or 30 hours, it's an awesome opportunity for some of our young people to get some college hours while they're in high school, and it just moves them a little further along and saves them money. I mean, it's free. It's not free when you go to college, so it does save them money. So we're really excited about that. And the ultimate goal is we continue to do as many things as we can, and students take advantage of the opportunities. But we still got to continue to create opportunities.
Which reminds me of a great quote you shared with me earlier, which was, the ladder is now a maze. No longer is it up and down and you go one way. You've got to move with where our students are today and those educational opportunities, and share what you've talked with some of our local leaders and business owners about what they're looking for in their graduates.
Yeah, that's a big change. When you look at the Life Ready and you can go to employment workshops or some of the workforce people at the national level, they talk about that years ago, when we were coming through, people look for loyalty or longevity, or you'd look at somebody's resume. I can remember as a coach or even as a principal, oh man, they've been at 4 jobs in 10 years. I'm not, that they don't have any stability. That's kind of what people look for because it shows they're adaptable. Now, again, if they weren't successful at those 4 jobs, they're not looking for them. But somebody that's been successful at numerous organizations or numerous jobs, they show that they can adapt and work with a different group of people, and that they can be successful. And those people are at the top of the list of a lot of companies now when they hire, because, again, no matter what your training is, the odds are in today's world, when you change jobs, you're going to now be working, the job will be different. So you're going to have to get some new skills. And so proving you have that adaptability and the ability for those skills is important.
Now, when we talk about celebrations and what's coming to look forward ahead, let's say we have worked with our grants department and doing social emotional learning, and our counselors. Share what's happening with that.
Yeah, there's a grant out there. I believe it's called Project Aware. There's some schools in other parts of the state that have it, but the State Department, we're working with them to write a grant. It's like $400,000 over 5 years for mental health for our families, our students, and different things. We've even talked about locating some access in the mall for our virtual students and some of those things. So we're really excited about that as well. We got some other grants out there, and we're looking for some foreign language grants, and that's one thing we really want the Life Ready Center. And we're going to partner with Fort Sill because the DOD, where they like people who can speak more than one language. And so offering various languages, we know we offer Spanish, but trying to find people, we're looking for, the possibility of Korean, German, Russian, even sign language. Some of our Native American cultures may want to offer some language classes. And again, the Life Ready Center gives us so much flexibility because we only need 7 or 8 students from each site. We don't need 20 students from a site to create a class. And it's also an easy come and go for retired teachers. So if you're a retired educator or you know somebody who might be interested in teaching a class at the Life Ready Center, just for something to do, it gives us that opportunity. So we're excited about that as well.
Let's go into our celebrations. We have a lot to celebrate, as That's into
exciting.
April. It's really fabulous, the list of stuff. So let's get into it. Let's start with our makeovers. What can you share?
Well, yeah, if you haven't been out and just looked, you can start with way out there at Pioneer Park. There's a new fence on the front. We're not finished there, but just to clean up there, and that new wrought iron fence going across the road. It looks so much better. If you go to Lincoln drew out and want a makeover. We redid the fence on the north side on that little field, and so the PE teachers got a place to, before the fence was there, but it wasn't what you would call secure. So he couldn't, balls would roll in the street, or he didn't have, security to keep the kids in. So now he's got a place where he can go have PE outdoors on a flat surface.
They have a new entrance.
The new entrance, we're working to have a new entrance there so that it's not a new entrance. If you look at the design of the building, it just hasn't been used in years, because if in that building, you got to enter through the gym. That's exciting. Douglas, when we were looking at some of the makeovers we're going to do at Douglas, the community and the committee and the alumni association, they said, can we clean up some of these trees and flower beds? And we called Jack Hanna, who runs our maintenance department, and Jack got his crew out there, and they cleaned that up, and it looks so much better. And so, Ridgecrest, most of you have seen that. We've talked about it a few times. So we're really happy with what's going on there. And so, again, we're going to try to get in the next couple years. It'll take a while because there's a lot of sites. We'll try to get them all cleaned up and looking good. And so that's the important thing, is keeping all of our sites, including the sites that house different forms of education. Douglas is kind of your secondary virtual
Right.
gateway. Washington and Adams, we've talked about what will their purpose be next year, but we still need to keep those tip top, because hey, you never know.
So we used Adams.
Adams was a saver, having Adams and ready to go, and not letting that get abandoned and go down or deteriorate. It was perfect. We were able to move those kids over there and bus, and it's been a savior for us and those students to get into face-to-face learning and get this year finished, so we'd have the time to go over there and fix the other buildings. So that's been great. That we talk about that. With Tomlinson being a Life Ready Center, there'll always be space there. It just gives you flexibility in what you do in years, in the future. And so hopefully we continue to move forward with it. And in this Life Ready Center, the ultimate dream is people are flying in or driving in from all over the state and even from national places to say, hey, look what they've done. Look what they've done in partnership with Cameron University, and what they've done with their Career Tech Center to create a space where students could learn. Now they partnership with businesses. All these businesses come in. The leaders from those three educational organizations can meet and say, okay, what do you need? What are your expectations? I was talking to some business leaders the other day, and we'd love with this Vista and all this in the mall. Let's say they create 500 high-paying jobs. Let's vote. How many of us want those 500 jobs to be from Lawton graduates? That's me. Why wouldn't we supply the labor force? If they're going to be great jobs that pay good money, we want them to be our graduates. We don't want them to have to bring, we want people moving in to grow our community, but we still want our kids to get those jobs first. So we're going to work with that communication. What do you need? What can we do to make sure, as an educational community, we're a partnership in education to produce the graduates you need to fill your workforce?
And speaking of other districts seeing what we're doing, we had the audio enhancement systems.
Oh, awesome.
Those vendors came in, and we were able to show them our news story, our LPS TV story, and they're like, can we share this out? So we're getting more of those into our classrooms.
Again, our staff, your guys do a good job. Our teachers are doing a good job. But those audio enhancement systems, I call them our sound systems, or their speakers in the room, and the teachers get to wear the little microphone. Those are really great educational enhancers. I mean, they're a great tool for our educators, because they make their voice pretty much the same across the room. It helps for kids who may struggle a little bit with hearing, or that student who's sitting by the air conditioner or the window or the door or the wall, and he's easily distracted. Now you have a little better sound. So we're excited about getting those in every classroom in the district.
It's great just to be inside a classroom and hearing from every corner of the room the teacher, and there's not a loud voice. And my husband used to tease me and say, you're using your teacher voice again. And I'm like, oh, I'm just so used to it. I'm so sorry. But now we can just have conversations and not have to scream over.
Yeah, that's exciting for our teachers. Again, our teachers are they're our most valuable resource. I say this all the time. Superintendents are a lot easier to find than teachers, and directors and principals. We need all those people, and we have great ones. I've been excited to learn, but again, it all falls back into making our teachers successful. So, they deserve all the shout out to getting us from August to April. Wow, our teachers have done such a great job. But we need to continue to provide them resources to make them more effective and make them to help them and give them valuable resources and tools they can use so they can perform, they can do their job and be more effective.
And speaking of those resources, we shared, earlier in our meetings that we have Native American and EL virtual tutors now.
Yes,
we did not have that before.
Nope, it's exciting. And again, shout out to our federal programs, Teresa Donahue and her team, for working together to come up with that. So, again, we got that INFO at lawtonps.org. If some of these things we talk about you're not aware of, or you want to be a part of, or your student wants to take part, be sure and send those emails. We'll forward them on to who they need to go to, or try to answer the questions ourselves.
Exactly. Is there anything else you want to highlight and celebrate? We've got a long list, but we might keep you here way longer.
Well, I'm sure we've missed something, but again, a shout out to this community and the support they've had. We're just excited moving forward. can we create more opportunities? That's kind of become the ultimate goal we have. We want 100% graduation, but we want quality opportunities for every student in our district. We want to break down the barriers and create more pathways, and that's the goal. And it's so exciting. And when I say we, it's everybody in this district. It's easy for me to say I, but it's not I. I get to sit in the office. The we are our teachers and our principals and our directors and our staff members across the district. And a great shout out for, let's work together and create more pathways and give every student a chance to be successful.
And thank you to everybody that has been, you've used our hashtags, We Are LPS and Lawton PS, because we're looking for them, we find them, and we share them out. And it's just great to, do that search and all of these wonderful things come out
awesome,
on our social
isn't it?
media. It is. So, Mr. Hime, thank you so much for your time. We do have the 4-day break, so we're not in school on Monday. We will see everybody back on Tuesday.
Enjoy your break.
That's it.
And the weather on Easter is supposed to be unreal, I'm thinking. And
I hope we keep this weather for quite some. We had a little cold spell on Thursday, but other than that, get those temps back up.
Enjoy your time, your hard work. Get you some plants from the
plant sale, from our Lawton FFA.
And get them planted and enjoy it. So shout out to everybody for the great things. Again, we're knocking on wood, but we're at the end of this tunnel and we can see the light, and it's a compliment to everybody in this community. So we appreciate what you've all done and how we've all worked together to get through this pandemic, and hopefully we're at the end of it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you guys for your time. Until next time, be well, stay safe, and make positive impacts. Have a great weekend.
See ya.